Hello and welcome back to the Irish Tennis Updates podcast. My name's Adam, your host. This week I've been chatting to Conor Gannon. Conor is currently on a tennis scholarship in the University of Memphis, and last year he was in the University of Tennessee. In the episode, we chat about Conor's tennis journey so far, his experiences in the US college tennis system, and we also talk Davis Cup. Conor has been selected this year for the first time to represent Ireland at the Davis Cup in the upcoming tie in Barbados on the 16th and 17th of September. So we talk about Conor's memories of Davis Cup, how it feels for him to be playing for his country this month, and we also look ahead to the tie in general. I think it's a good episode. I enjoyed chatting to Conor and hearing his thoughts, and also looking ahead to the Davis Cup. Here we go. Let's get into the episode, and here is Conor.
Conor, thanks very much for coming on the show. How are things with you?
Yeah, not too bad, Adam. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to having a quick chat with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to get started, just to ask you if you could choose any superpower to have, what do you think superpowers you could choose?
Great question. maybe like teleportation almost. Like just with flying and all that, I think it'd be quite nice just to click your fingers and be back in Dublin for 10 minutes and then come back to America.
Yeah,
I think that'd be quite nice.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think if I was to choose one, I think I'd go teleportation as well.
I don't know. I think that'd be the main one.
Yeah, sounds good. Conor, I know that you kind of recently got into Memphis, so maybe you're kind of a new university. So how are you finding that so far? And maybe in a couple of weeks so far, how are things?
Yeah, no, I mean, I came early just to get adjusted to the heat as well, and just new environments, more of a city vibe. The college I was at was more of a college town, so it was just a lot of college people. Where this one's it's more city, like more kind of Dublin vibe, which is quite nice. A lot of character, a lot of history towards it. Like Martin Luther King got shot here, Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley recorded their demos here. So there's a lot of history towards the town, which is quite interesting, and there's a lot of stuff to do outside of school and tennis, which is quite good because you're only doing that for a few hours a day. So it's quite nice. So I'm loving it so far, to be honest with you.
Really good stuff. I know this is obviously your second year, and you were in Tennessee last year. So what kind of switch over for this year?
Why did I switch?
Yeah,
there's a few factors involved. I mean, I don't really want to dig too deep into it. But just I thought the coaching styles a little bit wasn't my type, and I mean, I just felt like I'd get better somewhere else. And I just thought the coaches here at Memphis were the people I want. Like, the one of the guys is English, and the head coach here was Dave O'Hara's coach in college, and he has nothing but good things to say about him. So I trust Dave's opinion. So, I'm really looking forward to the years of working with the new coaches and the new team.
Yeah, absolutely, good stuff. And just to look back maybe at last year, what were some of the highlights and the best kind of matches or best kind of times you had last year in college?
I mean, one of the highlights I think I'll always look back on it was playing the national indoor final. I played against a guy that was like maybe top 30 juniors last year, supported by the LTA, Louis Maxted. I was up a break against him in the third. I think I was like 2 or 3 love up, and that was pretty cool. I played the semis of the indoors as well, which is pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of up and downs. Like there was probably more downs than up, but I mean, what made the up so good was I had to go through the low points. So, but I mean, any match I played, I loved playing. I loved the environment. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I think the final of the indoors was pretty special. I didn't really know how big it was until after. Like I got a lot of messages and a lot of people were watching it from back home, which I didn't think they were. So I was like, wow, this is actually pretty special. And I think I might have been the only Irish guy to play in a D1 final, national final. So for me, thinking back on that, it's pretty special. And I'm really happy I got the chance, or they put me into play. And I was winning as well, but it was unfinished because TCU won. But I mean, it was a pretty special moment looking back on it.
Yeah, good stuff. And you mentioned there a minute ago about Dave O'Hare and how he kind of had a bit of an influence maybe on you choosing Memphis. So could you just say a bit about kind of, I know you've worked with Dave a bit in the past, and I know I guess you're going to be Davis Cup teammates in next month, which is pretty cool, but how kind of he's kind of helped you in tennis so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's been a major influence. I think the year I started playing tennis properly, he just retired, I think. or he was trying to come back. So I had a few hits with him in Riverview and Fitz, and he kind of gave me like a new perspective of tennis, and I just thought it was so cool, like different, like even the volleys and stuff like that. I just thought it was fantastic. So I really started to work with him a lot more. That like from then on, and he's kind of been yeah, I've been a mentor, but he's also been a good friend, as well. He's someone I can vent to or ask advice for. He's really been a really good role model to me, and he's kind of been through it as well. Like we've kind of had the same pathway. Like we've both gone to college, and we're gone to the same college now, and we have the same coach. So I really feel like we've kind of done the same thing, and he's just been a really good friend. And I can ask him, feel I can ask him anything. So I'm looking forward to getting another experience with him in Davis Cup, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe just to come back a little bit, Conor, it's about how did your tennis journey start? How did you get into it, and how do you look back at those kind of days playing junior tennis?
Yeah, I mean, I started when I actually not too sure when I started, but I remember I used to live in the Gallops in Epsom, and they had two awful like tarmac courts over on beside my house, and I remember my brothers used to go over and play tennis, and I used to chase the balls around.
Yeah.
So kind of from then I just kind of started, and I went to Leopardstown with Dave Cooney, and then I moved to Monkstown maybe like when I was eight or nine, and I started working with Stephen O'Shea there. So it kind of all started there. I mean, I loved junior tennis, and I always loved the summers. I used to take 2 weeks off for holidays in like June or July, and then just do the whole like calendar.
Yeah.
I loved it. A lot of people don't like it, but I absolutely love it because you're just playing matches the whole time. And I'm not much. I mean, I love training and all that, but I feel like you play tennis for matches. You don't play tennis just to have fun and training. Like you wanna compete, and you wanna win. So I always I love just playing because you're playing a match tournament each week, and there's a new opportunity to win or to get something you wanted. So I mean, I love my junior tennis. I have such fond memories looking back on it in summers out in Sutton and Greystones and Carrickmines, all those tournaments, and playing table tennis and having an absolutely awful diet of eating chips, the €1 chips from the sweet shops, I think it was called, or the candy shop or something. Again, the jellies, and asking my mum for 50 cents and stuff. So it's great memories. I wouldn't change it. And
Yeah.
you meet so much good friends, and I'm still so close with all of them now.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah,
so
good stuff.
no, it's really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and then I guess a little later on, when you did start to play some of those still junior kind of ITFs around Europe, and a bit, how did you find that kind of as a change from those Irish tournaments?
I found it really difficult, to be honest with you, for the first few months, from maybe June to December, because in Ireland, like, you see the same players all the time. You know how to play them, and if you have a chance, if you don't have a chance, or if you're going to win or not. So when you're going playing ITFs, like, you've playing a guy from Russia you've never heard of, like, so I mean, I found it really tough, and I didn't really know how to, like, I had to work my way up. Like, I was from nothing. I was from nothing. So I barely won a match. Like, I remember ISIS said the same thing. I couldn't win a doubles. I was on a 13-match doubles losing streak at one point. Couldn't win a first round, and I could barely win I think I won maybe one round from June to December, and then I don't know. I came home and I played indoors here, or I came home. I was like, ISIS, I don't think this is for me. Like, I need a break from ITS for a while. So I played like this money tournament in Shankill, did well in that, won that, and then we played 18s indoors, won that, and then my granddad died, and that kind of gave me the perspective on life. Like, I thought I had like the whole like 3 years, but I only had 6 months left or something to play junior. So I really went at it from then. First time I went back, I won it somehow out in Norway with Jenny Claffey. So I mean, it's a hard transition to make, but you gotta kind of just. It sounds so cringy and it sounds so vain, but you just kind of have to trust the process, and like, it's really just between you and you out there. Like, you're not playing, like, what I figured out. Like, you can't, even in college, like, it's kind of like Ireland, like, who you're gonna play, like, the scouts, the weakness, but like what I find most important is you gotta focus on your own shots. Like, if the guy's a weaker forehand and you don't like going forehand cross, like, there's no point in doing that. You got to play your strengths. So that's what I found out since January onwards. Like, you just have to play your own game. You can't be dwelled in on other people's. You got to focus on yourself. So that's what I kind of learned most from the juniors, from the ITFs.
Yeah, nice. And then I guess when you kind of finished up that, you were looking at kind of going to college. So how easy was that choice to go to college, and even then the process of finding a college, and how easy or hard was that?
Yeah, well, I never really thought about going pro, to be honest. Like I never really had that conversation unless I was. I mean, COVID got shut down, and I just won two tournaments in a row. So, I mean, I felt like I was on the rise, but I never knew. I never even questioned like if I was good enough, or I was. I always brushed it aside, and education is quite important to my parents and I. So we didn't even like it wasn't even a decision. We just kind of knew I was going to do it. Um, like I've been told by almost everyone, like it's great fun, like you'll enjoy it, you'll love it, and stuff like that. So I also kind of like just ride the wave. Um, and yeah, I was just getting kind of texts from most coaches, and like I just decided really early I'd go to Tennessee, and obviously you couldn't take a visiting trip because of COVID. So I committed maybe in like May of fifth year, which is really soon
Yeah,
for like
very
verbally
good.
committed. So I didn't sign anything. So I that was really early, and that was probably a mistake in somewhat. Doing it that early, kind of shutting myself off from other coaches.
Sure.
But I didn't like it is what it is now. Like I'm kind of happy I did it anyway. Like I got to experience what the best in college is like. So I mean, it was. I mean, I've no regrets looking back on it. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah, yeah, no, good stuff. And I guess to move in a little bit to talk about Davis Cup. I know you did get picked for the team this year, which is great. So congratulations on that.
Yeah,
But
thank you.
also then, so when you were younger and kind of playing juniors still, like, what kind of memories do you have of the Irish Davis Cup matches? Good you've on to
Yeah,
watch and support and all, and yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's a dream for mine since I can remember. You know, I remember going into Fitz. My mum bought me tickets for my birthday to go watch Lithuania versus Ireland in Davis Cup in Fitz, and I remember sitting in the stands, and that was kind of my first experience with Davis Cup. And I had like this. They gave us like these posters out signed by like Nyland, McGee, O'Brien, I think Sorensen maybe as well.
yeah,
Had like all the sponsors in as well, and it was in my old house. It was stuck on like the wall until I was maybe 16 or 17. You know, so I mean, it's always been. I always think it's the pinnacle. You know, representing like I've done it. I've done Interpros, I've done Tri Nations, I've done Youth Olympics, I've done European Championships, and I feel like this is the pinnacle, and I can't wait and just experience it. You know, I like that. You hear about it all the time. You watch Rafa, you watch the greats. You're on the same category as them, but you're kind of playing the same tournament as them, which is really cool. I just represent your country. Like there's something really special for me in that. I'm really proud to be Irish, so I can't wait just to get over there and support the island, support the boys. So I can't wait for that.
yeah, no, good stuff. And you mentioned even if kind of a few years ago watching those matches with Lithuania, and I think I kind of remember those as well. Kind of Tunisia had Turkey
Yeah,
in different matches, and I
yeah,
think
Tunisia and Spitz. Yeah,
yeah. I think it's a pity actually. Like, it's been a while since because there was that kind of time around those years when there were quite a few like ones in Dublin that we were lucky to be able to go and watch. But it's been quite a while it feels since there's been any home ones to
yeah.
watch.
No, it's been unlucky, you know. I mean, I was watching the draw in February or March about it, and I mean, it's picked out of the hat, you know. Like it could have been in Dublin,
Yeah,
but for
yeah,
some reason it got chosen Barbados, which I could think of worse places to play
yeah,
in. But I mean, it's unlucky. I mean, hopefully, I really, I mean, that's a dream of mine to play in Dublin in
yeah,
front of Irish crowd. I think that's just there's something special about that, you know. In
yeah,
front of your friends and your family, I think that's a huge goal of mine, just to get it back in Dublin and Fitz. I think especially in Fitz because it's just like where I grew up
yeah,
watching all the Davis Cups, and they still have those kind of like posters from Tunisia and Lithuania in like the study room there. So like, every time I go in there, I look at that and I just think it'd be pretty cool to get myself and a few other guys up there on the wall. So I mean, I think they just took down the light before, so the light above the indoors. So that meant if the light was on, you couldn't walk in while the Davis
okay,
Cup was playing. If
okay,
the light
okay,
was off, you could go in and watch. So I still remember that. That those are small things I remember, and they just took that down. So anywhere in Ireland would be fantastic.
yeah.
But I mean, we just need to get the ball rolling, get a few wins, and hopefully we can get it back to Dublin or back to Ireland soon enough.
Yeah, no, that would be great if we do get another home match in the next couple of years.
Yeah,
Would be brilliant. So just to bring it back
definitely.
to this one. So how do you remember how you kind of found out when you were picked? Were you kind of totally surprised? How was that, those kind of moments when you found out?
Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird one because like I kind of knew like I might get picked, but I wasn't like entirely sure, you know. Because like I thought I had a decent first year in college, did pretty well, got ranked and stuff. So and then I came back and played a futures into Welling, and then I played the Irish Close, which I fortunately won. So I think that kind of helped. But I mean, it's tough. Like it's out of your control. Like it is what it is. If you don't get picked, like just got to keep working harder and try to get at some point. But I mean, it's a special moment for my family, especially my mum and dad because they put all their time and money into it. So I mean, I just kind of want to not give back to them, but kind of just show them like that it's paying off and like I'm not wasting their valuables on me not reaching my potential. So I mean, it's quite, and especially for my two brothers as well. Like they've sacrificed a lot, and especially like, I remember like my brother used to take the bus home when he was like 14 just so I could go out to DCU.
Okay. Yeah.
I know that sounds like petty, but like for me that's something I'm quite grateful for because if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be able to go and train.
Yeah.
So no, it was really special. I hope they're proud of me, and I just wanted to just make them happy, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Good stuff. So I guess for that tie, it's not very far away now, isn't it? Kind of it's
No,
mid-September?
yeah, it's 16th to 17th. So I think I'm leaving Sunday week, the 11th, I think, Sunday. So I got released from college for a week, which is nice. And yeah, just really looking forward to be honest. Can't wait to get started.
Yeah, so the team is Simon, yourself, Oscar, then Michael Agui, and then the
Yeah,
cap, and Conor Nyland, the captain. Is that
yeah,
who's going to be out there?
Yeah, and then Stephen Nugent, the vice captain,
Okay.
as well. And my parents are fortunate enough making the trip out, so I'll see them, which would be quite nice, and have them special there for singing the national anthem.
So you'll have
So
some
that
Irish support.
hopefully some Irish support, not just all the Barbados people.
Good stuff. I think that's definitely going to be a big one, and I look forward to kind of following that and seeing how you all
Yeah,
get on. So obviously,
yeah,
very
no,
best of luck.
it'll be a good one. Yeah, looking forward to it.
And just a couple of last questions, Conor, maybe before we leave it. But if you were to have some advice on for any Irish juniors, maybe around kind of 15 or 16 who are doing pretty well.
Yeah,
Obviously you're a few years past that, and you had kind of some experiences. So any advice you'd give someone to that kind of age?
yeah, just I mean, I kind of got up and like I started comparing myself to others, you know, not just in Ireland, but away. Like you need to be doing a certain amount of hours, and you need to do a certain amount of training. Like it's not about that. Like everyone's different. Like I know a few guys on the team, like they want to train more. Where I don't like to train less, but I get tired out, and I get then like my mental fatigue starts to go. So I mean, you got to know your body so as well because you don't want to get injured. You don't want to do too much. So I mean, don't compare yourself to others. As one, you got to trust the people behind you. You got to have like a team where like my team was Isa Stay, Steve Nugent, Ian Kelly, my fitness guy, and my two parents. So anything they said, I don't. I mean, I wouldn't always take it on board, but I'd always consider it. You know.
Yeah.
And so trust the people behind you because they have your best interest. You know, they don't want to be stabbing you in the back as well. I mean, I'll be going all day on this. You know, and there's a lot of stuff I've learned. You kind of got to be selfish as well. I think people come from Ireland, like especially me, like I'm a little bit too nice.
Yeah.
And like when you go away, you just learn that everyone's like when you go and play an ITF, like you're going there to win. You know, you're not going there to make a guy feel nice practicing or like you're going there to make yourself feel good when hitting the ball. So got to be selfish, but you got to be selfish in the right moments, and you got to have the swagger about you as well. Like I was talking to one guy on the team, we were watching Jack Draper versus Aliassime yesterday, and we both said like, wow, like it looks like he should belong there. You know, he looks like he actually like he's playing like a guy that's 6'8" in the world, but it looks like he's like 5. It looks like he like is control the match. Where we watched like Gallon versus Tsitsipas, you're like, oh, like this be a major upset. But when we both felt like Draper was going to win because he just has that swagger, like not arrogance, but like he has that swagger where you just look like he's going to win, you know. So you got to have a little bit of that. I mean, you got to develop that as well. You can't just like one day become an absolute Conor McGregor. Like you got to be like kind of build up to it. So, I mean, there's loads of stuff I can go on about, But they're the few.
Yeah, and just to have a quick look maybe at this year, Conor, for you, to bring it back. So I guess it's kind of before Christmas, it's kind of the individual, and then after Christmas, you bring it into teams. And how excited are you for the year ahead with Memphis?
Yeah, no, honestly, I can't wait. Really can't wait. Now I've only met like the whole team for a week and a half, and like we're all clicking. And I really think we're gonna have a special year, to be honest. And we have a really good team, really in-depth team. So, I mean, it's all in our hands. Like, it depends how hard we work as well, and if we take our opportunities and take our moments well. Because in college, like, if you get one good win, like you're 15 or you're 10, like that. And if you have one bad loss, you can go down to 30, you can down to 40. So it's all about, like, I remember Dave O'Hare kept talking to me about consistency. Like the main key to winning is consistency. If you make balls or if you keep winning, like, you're going to go higher. So we just got to keep the consistent quite high, and we just got to keep working, backing ourselves and backing our teammates, and so I think we're going to have a really good year this year. Personally, I just have the feeling.
Yeah, be good feeling.
Because I've been at the top, and like we're there. We're not a Power 5 school, but I mean we can definitely compete with guys that are top 10 or top 15. So no, it's going to be a special year for sure.
Good stuff. And and the last question, Conor, just before we finish up, is what's your favorite thing about tennis?
Favorite thing about tennis? Wow. Probably before the match. Like when you're nervous. Like I just feel like there's something special about that. Like I remember when I was playing like other sports like rugby or Gaelic, like I wouldn't get nervous, because it's more I suppose it would be a team sport as well, but like you can hide and stuff like that. You can't but when you're on the tennis court, like it's either your fault or it's your fault. Like no, you can't blame anyone else. You can't hide. Like, and one thing as well about tennis, like it might be different with other sports, but like you can practice so much, like 24 hours a week, but you could show up on the Monday, like you could hit 1 million tennis balls, like 1 million forehands cross, and then on the Monday you can miss 1 million in the net. You can't. You're never just playing solid. Like you're always going to have up and downs. But yeah, I think before the match would be one of my favorite moments. Like when you're nervous, and like I remember we played Florida this year or last year or whatever year in March or whatever, and I was sweating. I've never experienced that because the rivalry was so intense, and they were 2, we were 1, so it was a huge match. And I was dripping. Like I was so nervous. I was playing doubles and singles, and the stands and the crowds were shaking, and I was like, wow, like this is where you want to be, so I think before the match is one of my favorite, when like there's just, you could hear a pin drop, there's just silence, and you kind of like, it kind of hits you where like this is big, like this means a lot, like to you. So I think before the match, like when you're nervous and stuff like that, I think that's when my favorite moment is, I'd say. I mean, that's probably a bad one, but I mean, that's what I enjoy the most, probably, just like the nerve, like, because it's all on you, it's not on anyone else.
Good one, yeah. Like I've had people who've kind of said, like just the feeling of being in the match and kind of getting caught up in it is something special. But that's an interesting as well. Just before it, and you're kind of that's all you can think about, and all your nervous energy and all that. So that's a good answer. All right, well, yeah, a big thanks again just for the time, Conor. I think we might leave it there. But the very best of luck with over the next year with college, and especially in a couple of weeks' time for the Davis Cup. I'll be watching and cheering you guys on. So the very best of luck with that, and thanks again for your time coming on.
No, cheers, Adam. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks once again to Conor Gannon for his time with that episode. I really enjoyed the chat and getting to know his story a bit better. As we said, Davis Cup is coming up in just a few days' time now. I'm really excited to following the progress of the team and cheering them on. Do keep an eye out in the next few days for an edition of the newsletter where I'll look ahead to the tie. Also, in the newsletter, I'll have a written interview with Michael Agui, who is one of the players on the team that you may not know as well as some of the other players. So I think it's good to get to know Michael a little bit better. So do check out the newsletter for that. Very best of luck to Conor over the next year in Memphis and to the whole team at Davis Cup. Thanks for listening to this episode. Please share it around to anyone you think would enjoy it. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.